Oh, I haven't got no fingernails left. So nervous throughout that game. A win is a win. I know I said in the week that I wanted a convincing performance, and it wasn't that, but 100% take that. I think we dominated the game. We dominated most of the game without really doing much. We're getting into some good positions as well, but it's that final decision, that final ball that's always losing us down. There was a few occasions where a better decision maybe could have led to a goal, especially when we're breaking. There's a couple of instances when we're attacking the North Bank, but a win is a win. I've not seen the penalty for us. I've seen the penalty back for them on the replay. I'm not sure about our penalty. Their penalty, I think, is a penalty. I said in the first half, Nunes was every corner. He was like shoving the players in the chest, and I turned to the bloke next to me and said, he's got to be careful here, because with VAR, they'll pull that back and they'll give a penalty, and that happened in the second half. So he's got to cut that out of his game. But so important today to get that win. I hope they can build on it. I haven't seen enough today to be convinced that we're out of it. I think still banking on a new manager coming in and changing a few things. Looked a little bit shaky at the back. I thought Totti, I don't think Nathan Collins has got anything to worry about. He should be straight in against Palace. But it's so important. Barely creating anything from open play. I think obviously Kilman was unlucky in the first half not to score with a header which came back off the post. We're still not creating any clear-cut chances, but today didn't really matter about that. Today was most importantly about the result, which every game is. I think that Diego Costa may just be my favourite person on earth. Didn't really do much. He put himself about. But he's just got that tenacity that I think a lot of players could learn from. And there was a bit of bite about Wolves today. Tackles were flying in, sensible tackles, nothing reckless. But he's got that tenacity and bite, which I think leads from the front, and you can see that throughout the squad today. You got Martinho coming off and still on the touchline shouting instructions. Nice to see a bit of togetherness, because I don't think we've seen that this season at all. But the highlight was probably Diego Costa giving the ball back to Dean Henderson, saying, "Do you not want this now? Now you're 1-0 down." I love that. I love shithousery like that. But I think the performance of the day goes to Josh Power and the Wolves media team for the tweet post match. It's always silly when a club account posts something about another club before a ball's kicked. I think there'll be some very silly feeling members of the media team at Forest. There are a lot of red faces, so it's nice to stick one over them of that. And I also like how they said "Notts Forest" in the background, which they absolutely hate. So not convinced, but a win is a win, and that's all that matters. New manager in hopefully before Tuesday, if not before the game after. Not sure who it's going to be. Speaking to a few people today, older generation want Nuno, younger generation wants someone else, but massive win. Try and build on it, and we'll all have a few beers tonight and enjoy ourselves. It's the first time we've won a game on a Saturday, I think, since we, especially at home, since we beat the Villa in April. So well deserved.
And breathe. Wolves 1, Nottingham Forest 0. That was pretty stressful, wasn't it, for all Wolves fans involved? I don't think anybody thought today was going to be easy and smooth for Wolves, because that's not how we do things, especially this season. We had to work hard to get it, but we did get it, thanks to Jose Sa, the hero, and Ruben Neves, who's our joint top scorer now this season with 2 from the penalty spot. It was a scrappy game, but it was actually played at a decent intensity. A lot of tackles flying in all over the place. Certainly a good tempoed match, but not much real quality from either team, as was shown in the scoreline and the overall chances created. There weren't too many. Max Kilman hit the inside of the post with a header in the first half from an Adama Traore cross. And just a word on him, Wolves fans are so keen to write him off when he is our best player in the attacking positions. And I'll die on that hill. I said it last season, we should never have let him go. And this season, I questioned his attitude at the start, but he's since put in 2 decent performances now. I thought he did well in the second half away at West Ham, and he played well all throughout the game today before he came off for Nelson Semedo. And his shot, which won us the penalty off Harry Toffolo's arm that was outstretched. And thankfully Neves dispatched it in the second half. But boy, it was nervy after that. Steve Davis, our caretaker manager, really did shut up shop with some of the substitutions, the likes of Semedo coming on for Traore. And Boubacar Traore came on, a couple of loose passes, but looks like he's got good energy in that middle of the pitch and able to help close out games for us. But Adama Traore, a really important player to Wolves, and who knows if Nuno is to come back, which who thought this time 2 weeks ago would be saying that, or even last week when it looked certain that Lopetegui was going to come, but now obviously we know he's not. But maybe Nuno might be able to convince Adama Traore to sign a new contract. On that, Nuno, I'm not as against him coming back as many of the Wolves fans are. I think it could work. Because the atmosphere today at Molineux was fierce. It was really good. It was the best it's been all season, in my opinion. That was only me watching on the telly here. I thought it was really good. And the fans really got behind the players today. Now, if we went 1-0 down, it might have been a different story. But they did. And I thought Wolves, they had to win today. They had to win. And they did. That's all it is. Palace on Tuesday. We need to try and get a run going. We've got a good run of games up until the World Cup. We've got Brentford, we've got Palace, we've got Brighton, we've got Leicester. There's opportunities for points there and for Wolves to get themselves away from this bottom three, which they are now in 17th, which is brilliant. And yeah, it was just all about winning today. Morgan Gibbs-White had a stinker. He was really bad. Glad to see we've made a healthy profit on him anyway. And Matheus Nunes is decent in the middle along with Neves. Neves is just a leader, isn't he? He's a class actor. Love him for Wolves. But Nunes, on the note that he gave away the penalty, I thought it was very harsh, to be honest with you. It was Yates and him both pulling each other's shirts. And he's soft. They were looking to give Forest one after we had got one, which I thought was a penalty. And thankfully, Jose Sa saved Brennan Johnson's penalty. It was a brilliant save. No opportunity for a rebound. Got it out and Wolves managed to cling on in the end. And thankfully, over the line for 3 precious points. But it doesn't look like Wolves are going to become a free scoring team anytime soon. Again, it looks like we're going to have to be sitting through a couple more of those 1-0 wins. Certainly until January to see if we maybe sign a couple more of attacking players. But who knows. On Toti Gomez today, couple of loose ones, as I'm sure other fans will back me up on. But overall, a solid enough display. Kilman, decent as ever. The 2 fullbacks played well. Johnny, I thought, in the second half especially, really defended well. And there wasn't much else to say apart from that. Costa got himself about a bit, made a few runs. Was decent, I thought. But Adama Traore, in my opinion, the man of the match for Wolves, caused Forest a lot of problems. Bedent's decent on the left side as well. But all that mattered today was that Wolves won, and thankfully they have. And hopefully now we can get a manager in, whether it is Nuno or someone else. To be honest, at this point, I don't really care. Well, I do care as long as it's not Rob Edwards. But, yeah, thankfully, 3 points. That's what we needed. That's what we've got. And playtime is over, Nottingham Forest. Wolves 1, Forest 0.
We finally won again, and it doesn't matter how it came about, even if it was a penalty, even if it was scrappy, even if it was stop-start, we've won a football game again, and it takes us out of the relegation zone. 2 points clear of Southampton, who I believe play tomorrow. So, positive result. It was a better performance to go with it as well. So, the first half, I thought we actually played well. We controlled the ball on the most part. But it's just, we were just missing that final ball. Adama was getting in some brilliant spaces, but just could not, that final ball, whether it be the cross, the shot, it was always going well wide of the player or well wide of the goal. But it was pleasing to see after half time that it didn't let us that didn't get us down. And we came out fighting again in the second half and still, on the most part, like I said, controlled the ball. Forest had their moments, but on the most part they were shit. I don't have a lot of hope for them this season. I'm quite glad as well. I don't have a soft spot for Forest at all. So hopefully they go down. They look like they are because they don't look very good. I mean, we didn't look great, but we look much better than them. That says a lot considering we've only scored 4 goals all season. So no, it's a well-needed result, and hopefully that spurs us on into the next couple of games and just puts that barrier between us and the and the relegation zone, because that's what we need right now. And until we get a new manager in, scrapping for 3 points here and there is positive in my eyes. I don't care how it comes about, but yeah, 3 points is 3 points. Jose Sa made an absolutely brilliant save with one hand by all accounts. That was, when the penalty was given against us, that was the moment where you thought, yeah, we're just not getting anything here. Like, it probably was a penalty in fairness, but it just seems like nothing was going our way. Like we were bound to draw that game, bound to lose that game. But Sarr comes up clutch with a tremendous save down at his left hand side, and that kind of gave us that spur of energy, that second wind to push through to the end of the game, and that's what we did. So there was some good performances all round. I thought Johnny looked a bit shaky. I thought Totti Gomez had his moments where he looked a bit shaky. Nunes wasn't at his brilliant best, but that's all right. You know, not everyone's going to perform a 10 out of 10 every week. But I thought Podence was very good today. I think Costa was good considering, you know, he's still not up to match fitness, but he gave us an outlet up top. Traore was all right, but yeah, it's just what we needed. It's probably what most people expected. A scrappy 1-0. You know, the odds would have been low on that, I'm sure. But we take it. 3 points is 3 points, and we'll take that into the next one. Cheers for having me on, lads.
Finally, a good result for Wolves. It was an absolute must-win game, and yeah, really happy to get the 3 points. I'm hoping it'll give the boys a bit of confidence going into next weekend's game against Leicester, which is another must-win game. Wasn't an overly confident win, obviously scoring off a penalty, but we'll take a goal. It was a definite penalty for me. I'm not sure why it took them quite so long to check it on VAR. I mean, Lee Mason, what can we expect? Gave them an excuse to add those 8 minutes on at the end, give their little underdogs Forest a chance to get something out of the game. For me, the Forest penalty was quite light. Was a foul by Mateus, but I thought it was quite soft personally. Just glad we had Jose there to save us once again. There was quite a few positives in the game. I thought Diego Costa looked better this week. He did have that one chance that I think he should have scored, but it was offside anyway. We had a lot of possession, which was good, but also kind of expected against a side like Forest. Going to be more difficult to do that against the big side. We were getting forward quite a lot again. I think we're definitely seeing a more attacking style of football with that back four that we, as fans, all hope for. Still, for me, no real chances that felt like they were going to score when you watch them. I think even though we are getting forward a lot more, we really do need a manager to come in and convert that into goals on the score sheet. Obviously, it was a shame to see Neves go down, but got straight back up and ran it off. So fingers crossed that he's okay. Wasn't very impressed with Adama again. He had quite late reactions receiving the ball, and going forwards he was quite slow, which is really unusual for Adama. Did put some decent crosses in, but yeah, I'm not seeing quite enough from him yet. Unfortunately, we don't have any striker options to replace him with. But yeah, hopefully, again, a new manager can come in and sort of relight that fire under him. But having said all that, 3 points is 3 points, and we will take the win on to Leicester next weekend.
It's finished Wolves 1 and Nottingham Forest 0. A good 3 points for us today. Good 3 points for the boys. You could tell that they really needed that. They really wanted that today. The fans really wanted it and needed it today to get any sort of, you know, momentum going for the season. Let's start from the first half. I thought we absolutely battered them, if I'm honest. Not necessarily in shots and shots on target, but in possession, gave them nothing. We pressed well, made them just lump it forward, and I thought Kilman and Totti today dealt really well with their whatever they've got up front, really, which isn't much. The back four, it's a strange one because I think they all played well, but I think each one of them, bar Kilman, had a bit of a shaky period in the game. I thought Nuri dealt very well with Morgan Gibbs-White. 25 minutes for him is laughable. And that Brennan Johnson on the other side, I thought Johnny dealt very well with him as well. But there was times in the game where Johnny would just, you know, lose possession or kick the ball straight back to them and put us back under pressure. I ain't Nuri the same, because on these mazy runs, loses the ball and we're in the shit for on the counter attack. And I thought today, in spells, they struggled, but ultimately I thought they were very good today at the back. Kilman back to his best today, didn't look shaky at all. And then just Totti, who's a great defender, but he's dreadful on the ball. And you can see when balls are flowing into the box and he's just kicking at them, it could go anywhere, and that's a bit worrying for us going forward if he's the backup for either way, if Kilman or Collins gets sent off or injured, whichever. The midfield three today was Neves, Moutinho and Nunes again. All three were class. Neves is awesome, and we're going to be down and out when he goes really. Nunes, I'm still waiting to see the best of Matheus Nunes. I thought he did well today. I thought he did really well. He was in them pockets, but he just didn't turn. He had the space to turn, and he just wasn't turning. And it just goes straight to a Dharma, where I thought sometimes if you just turn and run with the ball, we'd be in a better position. But you can see his quality. You can see it will come. It will come. He's taking time to adapt to the Premier League, and that's fine. Neves and Moutinho again, I thought were really good today. And then the front three are Dharma, Podence and big Diego Costa. Dharma played really well today. I think he still struggles with his final ball. We all see that. You could see even Podence today, and Diego Costa were laughing at some of his balls into the box, and Podence was telling him to drill it low instead of looping it in the air, because they just seemed to be aimless half the time. But he put a great ball in for Kilman, who I think should score, for his flick-on header. That's unlucky, it's in the post. And then we get to the second half, it's 0-0, and we get a penalty. I don't think it's a penalty, I think it's harsh. I'm absolutely screaming if it's the other way. But we get the penalty, and Ruben Neves took it away nicely. And then we didn't really look threatened at all until they had one corner, and then Nunes, stupidly, you could see it was coming as soon as the run up for the corner happened. You could see he was being pulled over the place, and they were just moaning for everything. They moaned all game. They time wasted, and that was it. They came for the point today, and they couldn't seem to get it. But it's a fantastic save from Jose Sarr, who has been under question at the moment, I'd say, from some Wolves fans. But he proved today that he is a good goalkeeper, and that we can't trust him. His distribution was much better, and it was great to see him save a penalty again, which ultimately got us a win. I think it's a bit of luck that we need to kickstart the season, but we've got some more tough games coming up where we really should be winning these games with the quality of play that we do have. Collins will come back in for Tuesday night's game, I'm sure, against Palace, so it'll be interesting to see how we line up and how we play on Tuesday away at Palace. But yeah, good performance today, good win, grinded. You can see the lads wanted it, and that's all we ask. All we ask as fans is them wanting to play for the club, them wanting to win tackles, and wanting to score goals, and wanting to make the passes, and wanting to win headers. That's all you ask. That's all you ask. And I'm going to shout a big shout out to Joe Hodges, absolute crack that he did. I didn't see who it was on, but that's all you want. Just a bit of bollocks, just a bit of snot kicking people up in the air. That's all we ask. And luckily today, it's got us 3 points, so I'm happy. We go again Tuesday night. Cheers everyone, boys. See you later.
How are we doing, guys? All over at Talking Wolves. It is finished 1-0. Wolves over Nottingham Forest, if you can call it a win at the end of the day. For me, 3 points is 3 points. Probably not the best performance from Wolves. I think it's just showing that we are not getting that ball rolling. We thought Diego Costa was going to come in and be the solution to our problems, but we are still struggling to get the motivation. I feel like us as a club, we are lacking confidence. I feel like Totti at the back was struggling today. Every time he got the ball, he just wanted to get rid of it. He didn't look confident at all. Johnny Aït-Nouri had a few chances, a few shots on goal, nothing just troubling the keeper. All shots went wide. Johnny just struggling to get in the game for me. A few loose passes, just trying to feed Adama all the time, and he's just going out of play. Neves trying to control the midfield on his own. It's just, for me, too many problems at overseeing the pros, and for me, a lot of things have got to be done. Saying that we haven't got a manager, but we just, for me, it's just not looking good. At least we're out of relegation zone, that's all we can say. I feel like Adama played outstandingly today. Some people may disagree, but I feel like the geezer just ran, tried to put the ball in the back of the net, but no one was there. Same old Wolves, just lacking in that final third. But if I had to give it to someone, I think Adama did play well today, as well as Jose Saab pulling off a great save to obviously stop the Forest fans getting back into it. But for me, it's just same old Wolves. We've got to hit the nail on the head here and start pushing forward, because otherwise it's going to be a long season. So for me, Wolves need to pick themselves up now. We've got to win. Hopefully that gives us the motivation and gives us that little push forward to go on and start winning a few more games. So let's sit tight and let's ride out this together. Hopefully we can get a win under our belt in the next game. But let's go on to the next one.